One Assassination Under God is an eclectic album that wears its classic rock and metal influences on its mutilated sleeve with new and rehashed sounds from Marilyn Manson. But the real question remains, is it a good record, and where does it land Manson in my ranking system? Does he stay at number 38, move up, or plummet into the depths of hell? The opening and title track feel oddly enough like Led Zeppelin soldiered on beyond 1980 and Robert Plant got weird. The lyrics, the words, they seem to be discussing the relationship between audience and artist. Perhaps the fans were taken out from behind by whatever disgustingly intense thing that got them, that got us. And they need to get my fans' names out their mouth. That's what Manson is doing here. He's doing like a really good Will Smith impression. He sings it just like Will Smith, and that's pretty wild, wild west, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I think you and I do, and I think you're going to love No Funeral Without Applause, which pulls Marilyn Manson not kicking and screaming into Mechanical Animals territory without feeling like a cash grab or 90s retro glory, but it's an honest to goodness bark from the dog that is Manson's soul. And there's some clever wordplay with Inside Me, which I won't explain here because we're on the YouTubes, and Immoral without a T. It's not a perfect song, but it's definitely, it sounds like a grower, and it is growing inside of me. Also, which is really weird, it's oddly enough, this song, No Funeral Without Applause, it's giving off Blue Album Weezer vibes in the shreddage department. Very odd, very odd. Now, Nod, if you understand, is my personal favorite. It's the highlight of the record. After my initial few listens, and still even now, after a bunch of listens, the message is clear. The message is very clear. The world is terrible, and I am a monstrous part of it, is what he's saying. And why not? We all want to watch the world burn. Not, if you understand, really helps to bolster the dreary mood of the record. And if it wasn't here, this album would be a much tougher listen to get through. There are other deviations in sound throughout the entire project. The double-headed bastard of a sick as the secrets within, and the chugga chugga chuggin' sacrilegious are next. And I really like the former, and and the latter should not have been a single, in my opinion. It's all right, but it's definitely probably the weakest song on the record, or at least one of the. There's only 9 tracks here. This is a very, very concise track list. But that one, Sacrilegious, is just kind of a paint-by-numbers Manson, and I'm interested, as a listener, I'm interested in peeling back the spooky music videos and the religious allegories for a more personal Marilyn Manson. I want to see him dressed as Ned Flanders and kind of singing like Maud Flanders, if that makes sense. It does not. Getting past that broken picket called Sacrilegious, what's on the other side of that album cut, or that album single? What's in the neighbor's yard that we have snuck into? The grass is greener on their side of the fence, in spots, even with rotting dogs, skeleton dogs peeing all over the place. Death is not a costume feels like both a dark pondery of life and a breakup song. And the Tyler Bates synthesizers and instrumentation sounds like 100% classic Manson. Matter in a comma. Yes, I mean 90s and early 2000s. I wish more people loved Eat Me, Drink Me like I do, because I'd love to return to that kind of Marilyn Manson. But yeah, this rockin' song is rockin', and it's one that I'm glad we're getting out of Manson in 2024. When is part 2 of this album coming out? I gotta know. Is there a part 2 coming out? Anyway, my love for Eat Me, Drink Me gets fulfilled. It pays off a little bit as this song continues. A hot damn. This is the juiciest stuff that Manson has laid to tape in hellish minutes, in like hellish hot minutes. Not minutes, but like years is what I'm saying there. Meet Me in Purgatory sounds like a Ghost song, and that's not an insult. Brian would probably take it as one. He'd probably write Mutilation is the most sincere form of flattery part 2 for you, because, you know, MCR and Ghost are merely pale imitators of the Pale Emperor. Meet Me in Purgatory is a poppy bop, and I like it a lot. I like the pop. Raise the Red Flag drops the curtain of rage over him, just engulfing him in hate. The snarling teeth and the fangs ripping into our ears, our hearts, our chest, our lives. Manson is angrier and spookier than ever on this single. Raise feels very much like a shot at the people trying to take Manson down in 2024. Let me just lean in for a minute very creepily. Oh! The album ends with a ballad, and I really like that Manson is looking to expand into this softer music that he explored on We Are Chaos, and he's doing more of that here. I'd be open to it closer to the beginning of the record. What I'm saying is I would like softer moments throughout a Manson record instead of saving it for the last track. The poppy songs on this record, they work whether they're paired with Barn Burners or Zed Lepin worship. Manson's songwriting is just stronger than ever here, and there's really not a weak moment because there's not room for any weak moments in a 9-song album, right? God! It's stronger than ever on several of his, you know, this album definitely beats out like some of his weaker moments, like Here's Looking at You, High End of Low, and Born Villain. That is music to barf by, even if you don't have makeup in your mouth. Yikes. And this 6-minute and 15-second closer of a song, it is emotional and scary and religious. And on this track, the protagonist, he doesn't know how to love, but is sort of taking in the physical comfort of a partner as the end of life is on the horizon. Very intense, very meaningful, very worth the 6-minute and 15 runtime. And Manson has, before this record, sat as my 38th favorite artist of all time. I liked about 53.62222222% of his music. God, that's the part that rocks my socks off. And now this 4 out of 5 record, a pretty stellar album. Now Manson has moved up a little bit, beating out Underdog's Rehab and the Foo Fighters in taking the 36th spot. Manson is now my 36th favorite artist here on the channel.